Hi, I'm Spoof, and this is Quistman. And together, we're basically useless. I'm what's known as a gamer who considers his second home to be Varrock, and Quistman has been living in Varrock as royalty since he was just a boy. You see, Quistman and I aren't so different. Quistman was a man of the theater and acted in plays to entertain viewers, and I ate with the rats in the dark, stinky sewers. Okay, maybe that's a bad example. Where we find our similarities is that we've both been unhappy for long enough. It was time for Quistman to set foot outside of the castle walls, and time for me to go from sewer rat to tunnel snake. This is the story of how we met, and how we managed to become the most unlikely of friends. Welcome to Lore Locked.
I remember getting faded, I was changing, feeling timeless. I don't understand what it's time. I remember getting faded, I was changing, feeling timeless. I don't understand what it's time. It's that hometown love, hometown love, hometown love, hometown love. Yeah, everyone who stays.
In the past, I, like all of you, have completed the Runescape quests by spacebarring through the dialogue because that's what Slayer music told me to do. But I'm putting my foot down. No more loreless Runescape. I have 113 days of playtime on my main as of recording this, and I'm embarrassed when I tell people that I've played the game for 2,700 hours, and I barely know what lies below. I don't know what's at the top of Eagle's Peak. Hell, I don't even remember the ingredients to Disaster, let alone the recipe. I even had to learn how to read for this series, and do you know how long it takes Reldo to help read every quest objective I'm given? Well, I'm putting my foot... Wait, no, I already said that part. Quistman and I might have the combined reading level equivalent to a goblin, but I'll be damned if we aren't going to put the other goblins in our class to shame. How about Quistman. God dang it. So I created my character, putting him in a quest-colored attire and sleeping through the tutorial, but as soon as we got off the island, Quistman almost went home crying to his mama because he's all alone in the real world. And the free-to-play worlds are full of bots. Who would want to live here? It's been robbed of all of the life, all of the charm that RuneScape once had. And more importantly, I'm being robbed. Dear Questlog, it's lonely here in Gillinor. So many characters to see, but never meet. So Quistman set out to make some friends and meet some genuine people. The free-to-play worlds actually did have quite a few friendly faces. Quistman met a chef who he graciously helped gather the ingredients and prepare a cake for the Duke's birthday, saving the chef from a fiery end. Meaning the chef didn't get fired, not that they were gonna burn him at the stake or anything. He helped Farmer Fred fabulously finagle some soft, supple sheep to shear. He poignantly performed potion production with a witch in which he drank with, and he x-rayed xylophone Xerox Xbox. I probably shouldn't have chose X for my alliteration pun. Great. 1 quest point, 345 or something like that, magic experience, 5 combat, and a partridge in a pear tree. Delicious. I don't know how many bananas it takes to fill a crate, but sounds like the setup to a bad joke. Stash the rum in the crate. Alright. He broke the law and bum smuggled for a pirate's rum troubles, and then he risked his life to try to gain the reward. Oh my god. The gardener. That was actually kind of surprising to me. I did not expect to have to be fighting this guy right now. He's kind of kicking my ass. Oh my. Oh my. The Battle of the Century. Oh, he's going down. Oh my god, come on. Let's pick it up here. Let's pick it up here. I'm gonna hit him with the slash. He's gotta be more accurate. I'll hit him with the stab. Oh my, come on. come on, come on. Oh, no, it's neck and neck. Come on. This is the most tense I've been in a RuneScape fight in a while. Oh no, I'm done for. I can't risk it. No, the gardener. What a surprise attack. Oh no. So let's go over what happened here. Makes sense to me. You know what? Round 2 with the gardener. This time, he's not getting off so easy. Oh? I didn't even get a rematch. I don't deserve this treasure. After seeking revenge, Quistman went to help the goblins, but he really just confirmed his suspicion of the existence of little green men.
Little green man.
But aside from all the Super Saiyan gardeners and aliens, what Quistman couldn't shake when in the free-to-play worlds is the feeling that everybody he talked to just wanted something from him. The free-to-play crowd was a needy bunch, and they were happy to give him pennies for Quistman's hard hours of labor. I mean, the goblins sent him on a wild goose chase just to send him back with the same busted, crusted brown tunic. So I reminded Quistman of his worth, and that he worked to get here. He was trained by the great Reldo for this series. He didn't learn how to read just to be thrown to the wayside. I told him that soon, he'll be the one tossing orders around, and to work until his haters are asking if he's hiring. But to do that, we have to get out of the free-to-play worlds. Mainly because it took me a damn hour to do goblin diplomacy because of all the walking. I just desperately want sanity potions. Kicking it into gear, let's go over the rest of these enthralling storylines that we have up to offer. Wizard Mizrog wants us to get some beads back from some imps that stole them. I drop traded the beads from my main after hearing the extent of those chores. I'm not doing that, man. Quistman accidentally stumbled upon his first actual bit of questing when he met a couple in the Lumbridge Swamp that warned him of a house party that they attended that ended prematurely when somebody attacked the guests of the party. The couple was able to make an escape, but they were worried for the other guests who hadn't. That's where I come in. To save the day, he sprung into action and watched Sid die to a murderer. Knowing he had to act swiftly, Quistman sprinted on all fours to the study where Tayton was so he could watch her die to a murderer. Watching a game of life or death trivia, and she dies to a murderer. He saw Mandy give a classic horror movie performance, being the only one who actually survived until now for me to watch her die to a murderer. Then, after that heroic display, it was time for Quistman to play a carnival game with fun mirrors? No, it was time to unmask the murderer. The masked killer was none other than the woman from the beginning of the quest who was coaxing in adventurers to help her with their murder mystery party. She says that she hates adventurers like us because every time she goes to do a quest, they're already done by somebody else. So like an absolute maniac, she made her quest to become the main villain. She reveals her partner in crime, but as they're boasting, she's clearly more focused on her villain arc than their villain arc. They're lucky we're in the middle of nowhere, or else the domestic dispute would have gotten the cops called, especially when things got a little heated and Abigail, the psycho murderer, killed Diego, or whatever his name was. Quistman hit her with a nothing personal kid, and plot twist, she's actually alive. Plot twist, that's a member's item. She can't do that here. We say we saw Mandy die. She says that her heart is on the wrong side of her body, or something like that, so the killer missed, and quest complete. That was really weird. Less of a quest and more of trauma actively happening to Quistman. Ernest the Chicken. Veronica is outside Draenor Manor asking for help finding her fiancé. Veronica and her fiancé were lost, so they stopped at Draenor Manor to ask for directions, but it's been quite some time since he's went inside. We tell Veronica that we'll check it out for her. We go inside, ask this crazy-looking old man if he's seen Ernest, and Dr. Odenstein tells us Ernest the Chicken. I excuse his bad grammar and ask him how to make Ernest the Human, and he says to go find parts for his machine. Do that and come back, and he won't be a chicken anymore. I'm sick of these free-to-play quests. I'm getting out of here. Most of the quests that we had left had some sort of combat requirement, so Quistman began training. There were quests that made it sound like I was going to have to become a demon slayer or something, so I knew that Quistman would have to become big and strong. Besides, the quest made it seem like I was going to have to become a vampire slayer or something, so I had to train up right away. I knew that he'd have to get those levels up because the quest made it seem like he was going to have to become a dragon slayer or something. Man, these quest names really are just getting the job done, huh? I started Below Ice Mountain, mainly to get the flex emote for the training montage. Below Ice Mountain starts with Willow, who is a terrible liar and not an archaeologist. However, she says that she is, and she needs to get into the cave that sits, you guessed it, below Ice Mountain. To do this, however, she needs to assemble her crew of archaeologists. There's Burntoff the dwarf, who's needed for his explosive expertise. Buy the explosive expert a beer and he'll help you if you can beat him in a game of rock, paper, scissors. God, that is a crazy sentence. He drunkenly loses after we use a bit of sleight of hand to change our sign after we've already thrown it, so like a good man, he honors a game of rock, paper, scissors. Then there's Checkle, a barbarian in Barbarian Village who is dismissive at first after hearing Willow's name, but agrees to help do the heavy lifting if we can survive the rigorous training of his peer, Atlas. We get a fun montage of training, proving our strength to Checkle, who Quistman was actually really starting to appreciate. After all these chores given to him, finally somebody wanted him to show his mettle. First Reldo, and now Checkle. Quistman was really starting to get the feeling that he was questing, and Quistman was making friends. Finally, there's Marley, who wasn't very friendly to Quistman, but we needed him to disengage the traps in the cave. He told me to go make him a sandwich if I wanted him to even remember who Willow was. He says he would get it himself, but he was banned from the bar that sells his favorite sandwich. I go to Marley's favorite sandwich place, and I cave the moment somebody applies a little pressure about the damn steak sandwich. Nope. It's for me? Really? No, it's for Marley. I knew it. The chef says that he couldn't make the sandwich on principle alone, but he can tell us how to make Marley a sandwich. I slaughter a steak and put it in between 2 pieces of bread for Marley, and he finally agrees to help. And that's everybody. Let's go to the cave. If you could believe it, the crew that we hired to do specific jobs will now do those specific jobs. Burntoff will blow off the doors, Checkall will look handsome, move the debris, and Marley will disable one singular trap. As we arrive at the ruins, it's broken to Questman that he's incredibly gullible and that these are just petty criminals trying to rob the joint. Then the gang says jinkies because of course the monster is here. I retreat after the first attempt, realizing the beast isn't wearing a mask and that isn't Old Man Jenkins in there. But after prepping better stats and gear, I return to catch my shiny Regirock, but I KO'd him on accident. After that, it's quest complete, and finally a good payout for a day's work, as well as access to the runes of Camdozel and an introduction to Ramarno. I found it pretty interesting that Camdozel was where the Imcamdo dwarfs came to reside after their home of Imcamdoria was left uninhabitable, and Ramarno believes himself to be the last of the Imcamdo dwarfs. It made me think of the Dwemer Yagrum in Morrowind, who was the last known dwarf of his kind as well.
A visitor? What brings you to visit Yagrum Bagar, Master Crafter, and last living dwarf?
There comes a time in every man's life for espionage. For me, it's seeing if my cat Richard notices that I'm faking still being asleep so he doesn't get in my face for food. For Quistman, it's helping out the White Knights of Falador spy on the Black Knights because there's been word that the Black Knights have come into possession of a secret weapon. Ceramic Vase wants us to go because the White Knight's character prevents them from using espionage of any type. I don't tell him that he is actively using espionage by employing me to commit espionage because stupid is as stupid does and, well, stupid pays. And I took a look at the lavish castle around me and steadily agreed. Once I'm at the fortress, the Black Knights bullied me relentlessly for not looking the part in this part of town, but the guards at least talk to me and conveniently tell me that if I wanted to get in, I too would have to look like a guard and adorn the attire, because as of right now, I don't look like a Black Knight. The proper attire for a guard to enter is readily available. It's a bronze medium helm and an iron chain body, which I had earlier but dropped, so I had to go rebuy them. After navigating so many ladders that you'd think we're playing Donkey Kong, we find the Black Knight's secret weapon and we eavesdrop at a grate, and Jesus Christ, Gielinor would have been a much different place if the Black Knights were able to utilize this invincibility potion. Forget the White Knights, these dudes are going to be suplexing Zamorak on Sundays. The witch making the potion urges that Greldo go and fetch only a cabbage that grows in Draenor village, nowhere else, as this will ruin the potion. Quistman, seeing his opportunity to get that invincibility potion for himself, to become the strongest hero in all of Gielinor and be the focus of many great quests, decides he'll ruin the potion so the Black Knights won't be able to use it against the White Knights. Goddamn Christ, Questman. Though with that done, we can return to Amic Vase and complete our quest, then immediately go and start the Knight's Sword since the quest start is right down in the courtyard. The squire in the courtyard of the castle pleads to Questman to run his errands, because of course he does. The squire lost a knight's sword, which is a big problem because that would be like losing a knight's dagger but bigger. The squire has absolutely no idea where he lost it, and he's sure that somebody has already found it and pocketed it for themselves. I agree, as this is what I would have done, but that doesn't mean Quistman won't help get the sword back. We suggest that if we can't help find the sword, maybe we can make a new one. The squire spits in our face and stomps on our foot, but makes it look like an accident, but then looks us in the eyes and says, "That wasn't an accident." Then tells us to get f***ing real because the sword was an heirloom and he doubts there's anyone alive that could replicate it. He says it was made by an Incomdo dwarf, so instead of going to the last living Incomdo dwarf for my advice, we go to, oh my fucking god, it's Reldo, never mind. Reldo's chest hair flows in the wind as the sunlight gleams off his glasses, and Reldo explains like we're five that the Incomdo are said to be extinct only because they just aren't really friendly to strangers, but he knows of one that lives off the far south cliffs of Asgarnia, and he might take more kindly to a stranger that offers them a red berry pie. I take Thurgo a red berry pie, and if Reldo knows one thing, it's how to win a man's heart, because Thurgo goes dummy on that pie and bends over backwards for us. We explain to Thurgo that we just need him to make us a sword and that he can stand up straight, but we need some materials before he can craft the sword. He needs the cleverly named Bluerite and 2 iron bars to make the sword, and the Bluerite can be found in the cave below us. Get the ore, get the bars, touch your nose, Simon didn't say, get the sword, go to Squire, and quest complete. Oh my god, the smithing XP is crazy. I forgot how much that gets you. Draenor is getting ravaged by a vampire. Morgan is like, our village has been ravaged by a vampire. I disagree. It looks fine to me. I want this. But apparently Gielinor's #1 exterminator is for hire once more, so Quistman goes to meet Morgan's friend Dr. Harlow in the Blue Moon Inn. But before we go talk to Harlow, since RuneScape is such a grindy game, let's stop at the Blue Moon Inn and have a drink. The Blue Moon Inn might be the single most popular bar in RuneScape. We've already stopped here a few times for some quests, but no players ever drink here. No one comes here after a long day at the mines. Nobody is here celebrating their first fire cape. There's the local drunks that are always here, the small town line cook that swears he makes the best steak sandwich in the world, maybe a colorful character from the Sticks that just came into town for a drink. There's woman. The Blue Moon Inn might not be a hot spot for players to hang out like a real bar would, no matter how much I want it to be, but it's got character, or characters, and I come to see them more often than I might think. And you probably do too, but have you ever stopped for a drink? After my drink, I buy one for Harlow, which is the cost of information in RuneScape. Harlow tells us some vampire hunting secrets that only an expert like himself could know, like drive a stake through its heart and bring garlic. I ask if I should make some garlic butter to baste the steak and how cooking the vampire dinner is going to help. After some correction, Dr. Harlow has sent me off with a wooden steak. The vampire is a total pushover at my level though. 5k attack XP and a town ravaged by a vampire saved.
You gonna bite me with your widow teeth? Gonna bite me with your widow teeth, Count Duenor? Drainer. I barely know her.
I decided to do Romeo and Juliet on my way back to meet up with Reldo for our book club so Romeo would just shut up and stop talking to me every time I teleport to Varrock. The Restless Ghost is a quest about help... What? I said I did Romeo and Juliet, not that I'm going to talk about it. This quest sucks, whatever, just go read the book. The Restless Ghost is a quest about helping Father Eric get rid of a ghost that's in his graveyard. Just like the vampire, it has shown no signs of bothering anyone, so it's gotta go. Father Eric directs us to Father Ernie, and Father Ernie gives us the famous Ghost Speak amulet, and I can release my inner Zach Baggins and start asking the ghost questions.
Are you evil? Once for yes, two for no.
The ghost says that he's not able to rest because his body is missing its head. If we were able to get his head back and put it back onto his body, we would be able to finally put him to rest. The ghost says that his head was taken to the Wizard's Tower, and just for a little side note, I'm trying to do these quests without a guide until I get stuck on something. I got stuck on finding this head. If you're ever wondering, you search this altar. Silly me, I thought those were for praying at and leaving the officiant and your wife alone at on your wedding day. Giving head to a ghost wasn't quite as good as getting it, but the free prayer XP was. Corsair Curse was kind of annoying, so I'm gonna leave out some of the details. Captain Tok wants your help solving a curse that's been plaguing his crew. They've fallen very ill and cannot move, therefore cannot work. Our job is to now interrogate the crew for some clues. We come to find out that the ship's navigator has been spouting off about the curse for quite a while now, saying that this was all bound to happen. Well, now it's happened, but at the exact moment that they've landed. We find out that the team has landed and set up camp, so they'll no longer need a navigator, thus the captain was going to kick him out. Once we press the navigator about this, he admits that yeah, he poisoned the crew so they'd have to keep him around, since he's shown prior knowledge of the curse. The captain doesn't take our word for it and needs proof of this. We light the navigator's house on fire to prove that he can get up and move, therefore he's not sick. What the fuck? After the captain has his evidence, he asks us to kill the man. I tried to not to, as private investigators usually aren't also bringers of justice, but he refused to let me continue the series if I didn't. This actually counts as a boss fight. I don't know, I didn't like this quest that much. It was a lot of talking for such a simple premise.
Doric, can I start your quest?
Speaking of a simple premise, get 6 clay, 4 copper, and 2 iron ore, and Doric will let you use his anvils. Since this quest is so basic, I'll give you some trivia about Doric to fill in for the lack of lore. Here are some interesting facts about Doric. This NPC was graphically updated with the rework of Doric's quest, and this NPC's examine was changed from a dwarfsmith quite handy with a hammer to a dwarfsmith quite handy with a hammer. Nice. For Rune Mysteries, we tripped and fell into the Duke's lap, but it's okay because he caught us with a hand behind the ear and one on our lower back, but then he held eye contact for like 3 seconds too long, and that made it pretty weird, but slightly charming at the same time. Quistman has got some strange luck with these NPC affairs. The Duke blushes and looks at his feet, telling us he's very sorry for not having a quest for us, but we can take this old air talisman to the Wizard's Tower if we have some time to kill. We ask a wizard named Cedrador why his name is so cool, and then we get back to the task at hand and ask about the talisman, to which he says that the talisman may be the last piece to a puzzle that they've been trying to solve. You see, this isn't their first Wizard's Tower. In fact, the first one was burned and destroyed, along with all that was inside of it. Included in this was the only known incantation that could teleport the wizards to the Essence Mine. The essence mine is where one would, mine rune essence, and these rune essence acted as blank slates that could be imbued with magical powers from the rune altars. Runes are obviously what are used to cast spells, and since the incantation that was used to teleport to the mine was lost, they've been low on runes and soon won't be able to cast any spells. Quistman runs with his hands completely extended to Varrock to deliver a package of research to the rune shop owner Aubrey. He also believes that this might be a key to the essence mine, but doesn't want to shit his pants before they're on. He asks us to bring his combined research with the newest discovery back to Cedrador to see if he's gotten the incantation correct, and lo and behold, he does. Cedrador is now able to send us to and from the essence mine, and the rune economy will stabilize once more. Great job, Quistman. This also unlocks the skill of runecraft. That's right, it's runecraft, not runecrafting. Don't ask me, I didn't make it. Next, I did Shield of Arav, a quest that involves getting back 2 halves of a shield that has been stolen from the Varrock Museum. The shield belonged to a hero named, you guessed it, Arav, and it was a prized surviving artifact from the 4th Age that was until it was stolen many years ago. The current King Rold's father, King Rold, was the one who offered the reward for its return, so you know this is a long unsolved mystery for us to go and solve. To retrieve the 2 halves, we have 2 separate gangs to join and infiltrate, but being rival gangs, we're unable to join both. This is where, if you didn't know, another player is needed to complete this quest. One player joins the Phoenix Gang and the other joins the Black Arm Gang, as each gang has come into possession of 1 half of the shield. Quistman was a Phoenix Gang member because my skilling alt that I used to help with this quest was a Black Arms member already. As a Phoenix member, I loudly asked the town paper salesman if he knew where the crime gangs hung out, as I would like to do some crime, and he tells me where I can do this. Bar fight! After finding the hideout, infiltrating the gang is as simple as telling the door guy that you know who he is and what they do here, but he'll ask you to kill a local patron at the Blue Moon Inn named Johnny the Beard. Totally messed up, man. Johnny drops a report that we give to Straven, the door guy, in return giving us a key to the weapons storage. Deeper in the hideout is a chest that has our half of the shield, but let's give this key to our partner so they can do their job. The Black Arm Gang wants our partner to steal 2 crossbows from the Phoenix Gang hideout, and for them to do this, we gave them the key and they can go steal the bows so they can then gain access to the Black Arm hideout themselves and grab their piece of the shield. Each player will turn in their half of the shield, and since you only turn in 1 half, you'll receive 2 of the same halves of a certificate. Confusing, I know, but trading one of the certificates with your partner will get you each a full certificate that you can turn into King Rold. Of course, King Rold will only give you half of the rewards since he had to dish out 2 payments. This 600 coins also just proves that the quest rewards do not adjust for inflation. Also, King Rold is cheap as hell. Ernest is just a dude, and he gave me 300 coins for his quest. Rold lives in a castle and can't even shell out the full pot. Do I really need to explain what Prince Ali Rescue is about? Fine, I will. Prince Ali of Al-Kharid has been captured by a gang of bandits, I assume at ransom, but possibly at random, and we have to go rescue him. Scouts have figured out that the prince is being held in an abandoned prison near Draenor, and Lady Kelly, the leader of the bandits, is the only one who can move around the area freely. Because of this, we need to break the prince out, disguise him as Lady Kelly so we can get past the guards, and then return him safely to the desert. To break out the prince, we need to make a copy of the only key to the jail cell. We do this by taking a piece of soft clay and making an imprint of the key. But wait, how did we get the key? We walked inside and asked Lady Kelly to see the key. Then we made an imprint of it right in front of her. Then gave it back. What? Anyway. For the disguise, we need a wig, a pink skirt, and some makeup. Ned the rope salesman in Draenor will help us make the wig if we ask him to try his tired arthritic sailor hands at some delicate wig making, and then we can use some yellow dye to dye it yellow. The makeup, or skin paste as they call it, is a mix of ash, flour, water, and red berries, and the witch can make it for us if we bring her these ingredients. After bringing the key imprint to Osman, who gave us the quest, he'll use it to make a key and we can go and break out the prince. To distract the guard, we have to get him sloshed, so we fire hose beer into his gaping mouth from a second-story balcony after overpowering Lady Kelly and tying her up in a closet. Jeez, I don't feel too good about that one. Quistman's fine, though.
There it is, baby.
Demon Slayer starts with the only recorded case of a fortune teller having any merit. Eris mistakes us for the Benadryl Hat Man, lifts us up onto her shoulders, adjusts her grip so you know she really had time to think about this, and delivers the nastiest Brock Lesnar F5 Gillenor's ever seen. Taking some extra payment out of his coin pouch for her trauma, Eris then tells Quistman of his fortune. Eris sees a vision of Quistman holding an impressive-looking sword, one that she surely recognizes, but then she's taken aback by a vision of the demon named Delrith, and Delrith is coming. She explains Delrith was first summoned 150 years ago to destroy Varrock, but the great hero Wally was able to use the sword Silverlight to imprison the demon in the center of the stone circle south of Varrock. After this, she explains that the sword we were holding in her vision must have been Silverlight, and that we're the ones destined to defeat Delrith this time. Quistman accepts his density as well as his destiny and sets off to find Silverlight so he can fulfill the prophecy. Surprising in Varrock Castle is in possession of the sword, and he lost his key to the case down a drain. There are 2 other keys to the case given to 2 other trusted people, so the case isn't easily compromised. One person in possession of a key is Captain Roven, who thinks Surprising is a dumbass, and he just wants to give us the key so Surprising can't slay the demon. The other key holder is Trailborn in the Wizard's Tower. I have a suspicion that Trailborn is going to need, 25 sets of bones, so I grabbed those real quick, and damn, my intuition is good. The last key to the case was in the sewer below where Surprising dropped it, and voila, we are now the new owners of a frickin' sweet sword. We walk into the Dark Wizards summoning Delrith, but Delrith isn't ready yet, as the summoner says, so he only has enough HP to withstand a light roughhousing session. That's okay though, because his defense is this army of Dark Wizards and a disappearing act. What is going on? After defeating Delrith, the incantation that Wally used to seal away the demon must be chanted once again.
Perchai, Camarinthum, Carlum, Abergabindo.
The suck is on demon mode, and we're given something, but I can't see what it is because of these damn wizards. And after 19 quest completes, it was finally time for Quistman to take on his most grueling challenge yet. Dragon Slayer. Off he set to go and train and rest for battle when suddenly...
Are you Quistman, slayer of the demon Delrith?
Why, yes I am. Have you come for an...
Great, you're under arrest for the slaying of a child.
A child? What are you talking about? It's a demon.
A demon that had been summoned into this world for a total of 36 seconds over a span of 150 years. According to our records, you killed a 36-second-year-old.
I cannot believe what I am hearing. Hey, you can't do this. I didn't even get my NPC contact. First time. Good luck finding a guard around here that knows lunar magic. Great, a talkative cellmate. Name spoof. I was just getting out of here, and you sound like somebody who wishes that they didn't have to. Wanna come? Right, and go with you to level 50 wilderness? Thanks, but no thanks. I think I'd rather take my chances with Wormface over there. Too late. I'd never tried this with 2 people before. Let's go! I don't want to go with you, stinky jail dude. Come on, you'd rather be in jail. Yes, I'd rather be in jail. Great. Where did you take us? Jad's picnic basket? Already in Zulra's stomach? You might want to take a look at this. Oh, great. The start of Waterfall Quest? Really? You know what? No. Good. You can buy me a bond, and leave me alone while I go do Waterfall Quest. Maybe the free combat XP will make up for the nausea. Hey, Quizman, could you just take a look at me real quick? What do you want? Where even are you? Oh my God.
Time when I remember getting faded, I was changing, feeling timeless. I don't understand what the time was.